Hello and welcome to the first episode of Q&A with me, Rambo Kim, your FPS coach. And this is a new weekly series that I'm going to do where I'm going to answer all your questions that you guys submit through the comments. So continue submitting them. I do read all your comments and your questions, so I'll get to those on a weekly basis. Some of them are more complex than others, so they need their own video. But there's other questions like this where I can answer them in a couple minutes to help you guys out. So one thing that I do request is that when you do submit your questions, please try to be more specific. Some of you are asking like really broad questions, and they're very complicated questions that require really long videos and answers. So anyways, let's get started with the first question. The first question is from Junaid, and he asks, "Hi Rambo Kim, can you do a video on covering how to or the thought process behind a desk setup, as well as tricks you've learned over the years on how to optimize your comfort and gameplay while on a low budget?" You guys seen those tables out there where there's adjustable desks where you can go up and down electronically? Well, some people just don't have several hundreds of dollars to spend on that. So an alternative where you do want to have the option to set that table height to your optimal comfortability and your own body type, a good solution is these adjustable table legs from IKEA, and they're $15 each, so they're about $60. And let me show you real quick what they look like. So here's these, and you can adjust them and you screw them in to lock them in place, and they come with table mounts that you can screw on to any tabletop surface. So what I did was I went on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. You'll oftentimes see free tables and desks that people are giving away. Either they upgraded or they're moving and they don't want to throw it away, so they're going to give it away to people. So it's a really great alternative and solution to, again, adjust the table exactly the way you want it. You won't be able to adjust it on the fly, just at your convenience, but at least initially you can get it exactly where you want, and then you can keep it there for around $60. Question number 2 is from Fernando, and he asks, "I would like to see a warming routine pre-matches or something like that." So I think what you meant to say, obviously English is not your first language, Fernando, and that's okay. He would like my advice on a warm-up routine before matches. And that's also going to be dependent on which game you play. And it's a complex question, but I'll give you guys a quick tip. Something that I don't see many people do that you can implement that only takes a few minutes, that has high returns on your feel and your warm-up. And that's warming up your actual hand and your fingers and the muscles and the fibers in it. And you'll see this with any professional sport, any athlete. People will always warm up their body and get everything loose and get the blood flowing. And this is especially important for games like FPS games, where it's completely reliant on the feel of your hands to control the mouse and the crosshair. So a quick tip is you can get stress balls and actually squeeze your hand and arm and warm up all these forearm muscles and all your fingers and stuff. And you can also do this about 20-25 times, where you open your hand and close it. And what that'll do is open up, again, all the fibers and the veins and the blood cells and get everything flowing in there, so it'll increase your feel and your ability to control the mouse. Our third question comes from Uni, and he or she asks, "What separates high-ranked puggers from semi-pro level players?" And I think there's 3 parts to this. The first part is that high-level players and semi-pro players, they have a really good, strong understanding of which risks to take and which risks not to take. So they're not looking for 1-for-1 trades. That would be a very unsuccessful round. They're looking for 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, and any way that can carry the round. And they're constantly able to evaluate situations in the game and realizing which scenarios to pass up and let go, and which ones to take. And they're always maximizing their impact and the value that they bring depending on the risks in the game. The second thing that pro level players are really good at is they have a strong understanding of where their teammates are and what they're doing and playing around them. So the awareness of their team, what kind of information they have, what position they're in, what angles that they're watching, and they're able to play around that information. So whether that's baiting them, supporting them, or just getting that information that, this part of the area of the map is clear because my teammates are there. And with all this information, they're constantly gathering this and being aware of their teammates. So their spacing, their rotation, and their timing is always where it needs to be. The third thing that pro level players are really good at is they're adaptable. So while they're playing the game, if they're matched up with random teammates, players they've never played before, they're able to quickly realize what are the weaknesses or what are the gaps or what are the roles that need to be fulfilled in order to win this game. So they're able to change their play style, they're able to adapt into an entry player, a support player, an in-game leader, or whatever it is. They're able to quickly realize all those downfalls or weaknesses that could potentially lose the game, and they make up for it by being adaptable. Our fourth question comes from David, and it's quite long, so I won't read it all, but the gist of it is he's asking, at what point during a practice session should you take a break? Generally after the 3.5 hour mark, the 3 to 4 hour mark, somewhere right around there, is when you start seeing diminishing returns. And I think it's just very stressful, or it's very draining on the brain, and it takes a lot of energy to maintain that high problem solving and focus and all the brain processing power that it needs to play at a high level of gaming. So yeah, after about the 3.5 hour mark, that's when I would say, hey, let's take about 30 minutes or an hour. Let's reset our brains, let everything cool down, and so we can start playing fresh again. Our fifth question comes from Ching, and he or she asks, your videos are really helpful. Well, thank you. And I would like to hear your thoughts about being stuck in elo hell. I have not done progress rank-wise in almost 8 months, and I'm wondering if it's something with me or am I just unfortunate? So elo hell, that's elo, it's a ranking points. So the answer I'm about to give, I guess it'll be generalized. So whatever game you're playing and you're trying to climb in the ranks, but you're stuck, you're stagnant, and you're just going up and down, you're winning 2 games, you're losing 2 games. Well, generally that means that there's 2 things I would recommend. The first thing is that I would recommend expanding your gameplay. So if you're doing the same things, if you're going to the same positions, playing the same classes, you're doing the same routines and patterns and gameplays, that's probably why you're not progressing, because you're not willing to try something new. Obviously doing the same things over and over again, it's not working, right? So you need to be able to, that quote is, take 1 step back in order to take 2 steps forward, and that applies here. So watch demos, look at the pros, try to expand your gameplay, trying new things, new strats, new positions, new timings, and new angles. And at first you might fail, and it's going to be new, so it's a whole experience building process. But once you're able to expand your gameplay, I think you'll be more versatile and adaptable, and you'll be able to do more things and then try different solutions that may help you get out of that elo level. And the second thing I would recommend to get out of elo hell, I touched on this about what pro players do better than amateur players, and that's being really adaptable and being good teammates. So they're able to figure out what the team needs and then filling in those certain slots, right? So expanding your own gameplay, and if you do that, you can start figuring out which gaps and weaknesses I need to fill in for this particular game. And the second thing being, how can you be the best teammate possible? So how can I communicate and coordinate better with my teammates? So we're running little executions and strats together, we're trading kills, we're rotating, our spacing and time is good. Like all those little things, all these teamwork skills and abilities, they transfer to any game that you play and any elo team that you get matched up with. Our last question comes from I Hear Deaf People, and he or she asks best aim trainers and how to train them. So I'm kind of old school in this approach, where if I'm competing or practicing in a game, I prefer to only do it in that specific game or that specific engine. So I don't want to rely on a third-party engine or game or program to train aim in a completely different game or engine. And even if there is a chance that there's 0.1 sensitivity off in difference, or say slight difference of mouse accel, that is enough for me to not even want to risk it, because that 0.1 sensitivity difference is the difference between hitting a shot or missing a shot. However, I have downloaded Kovacs. I've seen you guys comment and post that a bunch and mention that, so I will be trying that here in the next couple weeks, and I'll give you my honest feedback and review and see if there is any utility to see if that's helpful for FPS games. So that does it for this video. Again, guys, thanks for submitting your questions. Try to be more specific, and that'll help your chances of getting in these videos. Thanks for watching.